Hi, this is Danielle. I wanted to share with you some information about Drainage Activator, which is a new product from CellCore, and it has to do with the fascia. So it's so interesting to me. And I want to explain a little bit about what's going on in the body and what Drainage Activator is actually working on. So to do that, I want to show you this is a picture of a capillary. So here's where your blood is flowing through, and lining the walls of the capillary are these endothelial cells right here. They line all of our blood vessels. And what can happen is if you're exposed to allergens or pathogens like a virus, bacteria, parasite, or toxins like alcohol or mold, or if you've had trauma, it can trigger inflammation in these cells. And then that leads to these gaps that form between the cells, between the endothelial cells. It's basically leaky blood vessels. Like you've heard of leaky gut. This is leaky blood vessels. And when there's gaps that form here, then fluid and proteins and sodium can release out into the extracellular matrix, and this interstitial fluid is part of the fascial system. It's part of the fascia. This is all throughout our bodies. And so when this is going on chronically, when you have chronic leakage here, this gets really congested. And usually the lymphatic system is taking some of this away into lymphatic circulation. But if it's going on chronically, it can't keep up. And so this just gets full of fluid, and this is not a healthy state. And they've found this leaky blood vessel phenomenon going on in a number of conditions, including autoimmune diseases, so RA, lupus, psoriasis. They found it in inflammatory bowel disease, ulcerative colitis, obesity, cardiovascular disease, diabetic cardiomyopathy, dementia. They've also found these leaky blood vessels in long COVID, in asthma, arthritis, acute respiratory distress syndrome, age-related macular degeneration. There's all this research that this is going on in a lot of these conditions. What's interesting is that when there's gaps here, it takes no energy at all for the fluid to leak out, but it does take energy to close the gaps. And when you have this chronic condition, a lot of times you don't have the energy to actually close the gaps. This also happens in cancer as well, which is interesting. The other fascinating part is that the extracellular matrix here has a role in impacting the integrity of these cells. It has sensory input feeding back into these endothelial cells, and it can help determine the integrity of it and what's going on here. So it's important to help people with this condition going on. It's important to support the gaps with closing, and it's also important to support the fascia. So in order for the gaps to close, you need energy. It takes energy to close the gaps. And that's provided by Drainage Activator. That's one of the things that Drainage Activator does, is it helps to close the gaps. It also helps the fascia because it helps to drain the extracellular matrix, and it helps to drain the lymphatic system. It helps to detox, and it also has antiparasitic, antimicrobial, antifungal properties to it as well. So it's a really great product to help this condition overall. The other thing that I think is really helpful is working with the fascia in another way through body work. So I'm a big proponent of influencing the fascia through myofascial release, visceral manipulation, and craniosacral therapy. And what can happen is the fascia actually also influences the cytoskeleton in the cells. So John Barnes talks about this. John Barnes is the father of myofascial release, and he's written articles talking about how there's this balance between the extracellular matrix here and the cytoskeleton of the cell, and there's this tug of war, and it needs to be in balance in order for optimum vitality. And he's referenced an article, a 2014 article in the Scientific American, where they talked about cancer as a disease of a disturbed microenvironment. So they found that alterations in the cellular shape and in the fascia, in the extracellular matrix, actually preceded the onset of tumors and may even initiate the disease of cancer. And also, they did find research that's showing that cancer has chronic leaky blood vessels. So all this to say that I think the fascia is very much important in a bunch of different mechanisms within the body, and you can support the fascia with Drainage Activator, and you can also support the fascia with, for example, myofascial release. And when you put your hands on someone and have them stay there for sustained amount of time, your mechanical energy, your mechanical pressure turns into electrical energy through the piezoelectric effect. And that creates this phase transition, and you can actually influence the state of the extracellular matrix and the fascia. And so this might be one mechanism, because if you're influencing the extracellular matrix here, you potentially could be influencing the integrity of your blood vessel walls. And you can also be influencing the integrity of your cells if you're influencing the fascial system and the integrity of your lymphatic system. And then this transcellular fluid is an example of that would be cerebral spinal fluid. So the fascia is connected to all of these things throughout our bodies. And when we can support the fascia, I feel that helps to support us energetically as well as physically, and just helps to bring more balance in our body. So the people who've already been on Drainage Activator, they have found that their rings fit better. For example, they had less puffiness throughout their entire body. They had less edema. They've lost body fat, improved sleep. They think that's through the lymphatic system flushing the brain it's basically the brain lymph is getting a flush with this product, and so that can be supportive. Improved mood, and they also found that the meridians were more balanced, which makes perfect sense to me because the meridians are embedded within the fascial system. And so if you're supporting the fascia, you're supporting the meridians. And this product's definitely supporting the fascia. In general, this product is helping the extracellular matrix to drain, it's helping the lymphatic system to drain, and it's helping detox. And so I love that you can support the body in multiple ways. You could have hands-on therapy, kind of supporting the body from the outside in, and you can also take supplements that are going to support your body from the inside out. And this just reminds me, looking at this research and learning more about this product, reminds me how interconnected our bodies are, and how you can't separate out different systems of the bodies. Everything is connected to everything, and that's so exciting. And I'm just really honored to learn more about the body each day and to help people support their bodies. And so I'm a CellCore practitioner. If you have any questions, I'm happy to help answer them. And if you'd like any more information about body work like myofascial release or craniosacral therapy or visceral manipulation, let me know. One last note about visceral manipulation. They did find in the research that this process, the leaky blood vessels, it happened quite a bit in the intestines. And so visceral manipulation helps influence the fascia of the organs, and it helps cell physiology of the organs. And so to me, that just kind of also reiterated that visceral manipulation is so helpful, because if you're influencing the fascia in the intestines, you potentially could be also supporting the integrity of the endothelial barrier there. So it's all connected, and I'm just so in awe of our beautiful bodies. If you have any questions, let me know.